What up, nerds? Bujo Head Jody here. I have been bullet journaling since 2017, and I would like to share my weekly spreads from January 2021 with you. So, let's get started. I have covered part of my monthly spreads because I started filling them out. So this first one is just those first 3 days in January. So they were slightly wider boxes than what I'll be doing in the future. But same basic concept. First, a black box with the day of the week up at the top, and the date in the top right corner. And I also am including 2 now and later boxes. I kind of included this so I can copy some things over from 2020, from the end of my December spread. I got a little mini calendar here. But most of these, this was just sort of organization, these 2 now and later boxes. I will be making a green box for each day. This is something that I don't think I've done this spread or anything similar that you guys have seen, but it's something I have done. I did a little bit in 2020. I've done it in previous years as well, and I really want to bring it back for 2021. And that is, I used to do a lot of best thing, worst thing spreads, sort of. So once per day, you write down what the best thing that happened in the day was, and then the worst thing that happened in the day. I know some people do, let's see, rose and thorn, and there's also variations that include what are you looking forward to, or in the rose and thorn vernacular, a bud. So because I'm using the 3 different colors, I got, green for good, red for worst, and the blue for what I'm looking forward to. Usually, I don't think I've ever incorporated this into my weekly spreads. I usually would have it as a monthly, and then just fill it out as the month went along. I have a couple different ones that are like really interesting to look back on, and I really, really like that. There's some that I didn't keep up with. So hopefully I'll keep up with this. I think it'll be helpful to have it on the weekly spread, so that, because those are the ones I refer to every day, and I actually look at those certain days. And it would also help because it's right next to what I've been doing that day, or what I plan to do that day. So now the next 4 weeks are actually 4 full weeks. So these next 4 pages are all going to be very, very similar. The spacing, I do give myself a little less spacing for, because they're 4 across, so we can fit in 7 days and then of the week, and then an extra box for my now and later. One set of them per 2 pages, which would be 2 weeks. So the top boxes here, my plans for the day. I actually don't need that much space. I never really have that much going on, so I did vary the height here a little bit just to give it a little bit of visual interest. So we'll have 1 week per page. So 2 weeks for the 2-page spread. And I don't think you can see it from this angle, but the days of the week have the little 2 dots next to them to sort of keep in with the theme, which is, if you have not watched my monthly, is a throwback to some of my oldest spreads in 2017, where I'd use a lot of color coding to be like beginning and positive, negative. So green, red, and blue are those designations. So we've got our green boxes, our best and worst. This was a childhood thing of ours, or of mine. We would sit at the dinner table, and that was one thing that we always talked about as a family. You know, best thing, worst thing. What was the best thing that happened to you today? What was the worst thing that happened to you today? We didn't actually do the what are you looking forward to variation. That actually came from a group of friends that I knew in college. They would call it, rose, thorn, and bud. Got our first little mistake with that first red line being a little bit too long. And now that I have been using this bullet journal for a while, I do have to say, so my preferred way of fixing mistakes is to use a white paint pen. And in this journal, it bleeds through the paper. And so, especially if you're trying to cover color, that then makes the color bleed through the paper. And not only do you have a mistake on one side, you have a mistake on the other side of the paper now. So I'm not super happy about that. I thought I had found a good, substitute for some more expensive journals that I had been looking at. And must say I'm a little disappointed. So we'll have to see. I'll have to check. My white jelly roll maybe works better. Or if we can, get some actual white out. So we'll see. I am not a fan of the whiteout tape. That stuff never works for me. So maybe we'll have to find a different method, or, just accept some mistakes. So we've got our 3 different boxes for the best thing, worst thing, and the thing that you are looking forward to. Now, especially with rules like that, I try not to take too long to think about it, like if something really good happens and I remember it later, I'm like, oh no, like but oh well, it wasn't what I thought about at the end of the day. And be looking forward to can be anything. So it can be for tomorrow, but it can also be for the weekend or something that you thought a lot about today. So even if you have like a vacation scheduled in several months, maybe you were looking up things to do on that vacation, and so therefore, that's what you're looking forward to. So I usually try to do a good mix. My basic prompt that I do is, okay, what am I looking forward to tomorrow? But especially around Thursday, I'm like, the weekend! So we got some mini calendars here. I wasn't sure about the spacing. I definitely went right up to the edge of the paper here. But that's okay. It all fit in fairly well. And then I also used the colors to highlight what week that page was, which I think is something I used to do a lot more, sort of beginning of 2020. So I think you may not have seen that a lot in my later spreads, or the later months. But especially if I have a mini calendar on the page, I like to indicate, on the weekly pages, I like to indicate which week that page is for. Sort of orient myself within the month. And then we're gonna put a little bit of decoration. I am still kind of debating with myself about whether I should have gone a little bit more with these. I definitely did them very sparse. I think they would have looked really cool if I had some overlapping elements. But especially when I was making this, I was thinking to myself that maybe that could be something that I do as the month goes on. I could add more. I had one spread, when was that? 2018, I believe, where as part of my weekly spreads, I actually had a section for little geometric doodles that I could fill in. And so for every day, I had like a slightly different geometric doodle that I fit into. I can't remember if it was octagon, maybe. It was really cool. It was nice. I did a lot of interesting patterns, and it was a good way to just sort of doodle and clear my head and, use my bullet journal without, having to be very serious. So this is the last two pages that we got going on here. Definitely switched the placement up a little bit just to keep things interesting, but very similar, same concept. We start with the black box for tasks and scheduled events, that kind of stuff. One thing I have been finding, especially as I'm filling these out in advance, I fill out my tasks or, scheduled events from my big calendar and my monthly spreads almost immediately, right after I film these. And one of the things I liked when I was just sort of setting these up, as the week happened, is that then I would, copy those over, and it was much more immediate what was happening that week. So I might, it's not something you really see on the screen, but I might be trying to do something more similar to that. Just wait to fill out later weeks until I'm actually ready to turn the page and start using those spreads. Just a thought. Hope it might apply to you. We got our little mini calendars happening. My now and later boxes. One thing I have been finding is that my later boxes don't have as many items in them. Although I think I might try to incorporate more of my long-term tasks. Sort of pick one or two for the month and see if I can include those in that later box. So maybe that can then inform some daily tasks that I want to put together. And I do want to continue doing at least best thing, worst thing. I think the looking forward to one it's nice, especially it fits with this, this month's theme. But I really enjoy having something to look back on and be like, oh, what was happening on this certain day in my life? Small things and big things. We've got our green boxes. We're going to work on our red boxes now. And once again, another mistake. I don't know what it is about the red. It was always the red pen. That's very interesting. So we'll fill that box. So yeah, this is my Posca paint pen. I'm hoping maybe one of the problems was I just didn't shake it up enough, so it was a little watery, but it did really bleed through, so I don't know. Going to carefully draw the blue boxes around that. Try not to put my part of my hand on the drying paint pen, which I did very skillfully, if I do say so myself. Adding the numbers. I am very excited for February. As my weeks start on a Monday. And so February is a perfect 4 weeks. So I was actually looking back to go see what colors I had used to highlight the week. that I was continuing the pattern. Throw in a little geometric flare here. Pretty simple. It takes a little while to do just because there's so many little boxes that you have to put together, but I think it's nice and cute, simple, definitely going back to my more geometric ways instead of doing more of a concrete theme. It's much more conceptual. So I really like it. Got me to use my new pens, which I'm very excited about. We're gonna use a little movie magic here to clean this up and then wait for that paint pen to dry. This is essentially it. So, good to see you. Thanks a lot. Bye.